and seeing Pilar and Sophia behind me. What this means is I know that I went in the house first. I'm not the one that left the garage open Saturday night. Now, why does this really matter at the end of the day? Well, it matters because on Sunday morning, a bear had invaded our garage, opened up the freezer, the other freezer in the refrigerator, and completely and totally tore up our entire garage, ate all of the food. Because, we have one of those refrigerators that are in the garage, but also a freezer in the garage. Yeah. The bear opened everything, went through everything, went to the bathroom multiple times in the garage.
What?
Totally just destroyed everything, our whole garage.
I had a bear party there.
Are you kidding me?
It was a bear party. I don't know how we didn't hear anything. I have a dog. I don't know how they weren't barking. But it was an absolute.
Of course he was.
I was wondering why the bear was the dog was cuddled up next to me, huh?
He was petrified.
So I've always heard stories of this happening. It finally happened to me.
I can barely stand it.
Yeah, why do you guys not seem that concerned? That's what I want to know, first of all.
Okay, I'm going to ask a
please.
borderline weird question.
All right.
So the door from your garage to your house, is that unlocked all the time?
No, I mean...
Because my concern is, what if the bear would have gotten to your house?
I'll be honest with you. I believe that it's mostly unlocked, and I believe that was something...
I believe it's mostly unlocked because most times, all of my friends that have garages, that door is definitely not locked.
Yeah. but we do have this little doggy gate that might have stopped him.
Oh, but he could open that door.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Bears are they're great.
I'm wearing a WKMG hat today, as you can see.
Right.
Celebrating our new partnership with our good friends over at clickorlando.com, News 6, WKMG, where I do a show every single week as well. So
about those
I'm
guys.
very happy to hear them on our air here at Florida Man Radio. So welcome to the team.
Who's that lady in the morning?
To News 6. Which one, Mick?
The blondie.
I believe you're talking about Kirsten O'Connor.
Yes. That sounds right.
She's very good at the news?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, she's real good at the news.
321-339-1055. We're also going to play Stump the Clarkie a little bit later today, and we're going to give away some tickets to this poker event we have coming up on Friday, I believe. Do you have any more details on the poker event?
Yeah, so it's going to be this coming Friday from 7 to 11 down at... It's a lodge.
We're going to get you the details.
It's a lodge. Hang on, don't tell me.
I did have the flyer.
But it's going to be supporting Hometown
Hero.
Heroes Alliance, a very, very good cause. They're going to be raising money to support injured first responders. So we're all going to be out there.
The Hometown Heroes Alliance Casino Night, October 11th. That is this Friday. We're going to play Texas Hold'em. Seats are available for $50 per seat. I've got 2 to give away to you tonight. 321-339-1055. But before we do that, I wanted to welcome a very special guest back to the program today. He is Mark Anderson of Sapphire Timeshare Cancellation. Mark, welcome back to the show. How are you?
How you doing? Doing
so
good.
I had plenty of time to think about this since I last saw you, because I do think timeshares financially are one of the worst possible investments any human being can make in their entire life. There's really nothing good that I can find about timeshares. But then I also thought about this. I don't think people understand. If you have a timeshare and you don't pay it, or you have some sort of issue with them, they're going to foreclose on you as well. I mean, how can a timeshare really negatively affect your credit?
Oh, for sure. You, especially if you don't pay for it, and you completely try to avoid them, you're facing negative credit marks, foreclosure, judgments, debt collections, charge-off accounts. It just keeps going on.
And they can foreclose on you just like a bank can. I mean, you're going to have
a second mortgage.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it is a mortgage in a lot of ways. I mean, isn't that how it's labeled? It's you get a mortgage if you don't pay cash, right?
Well, that's how they kind of categorize it. So when it says foreclosure, they'd foreclose on you similar to a house, even though it's internally financed or maybe financed to another third party, but still.
Well, what if you pay cash, though?
Well, then you're not going to have a mortgage. You'll be
okay. So you'll be okay.
Well, no, you'll have maintenance fees every year. So if you don't pay on those, they can foreclose you on delinquent maintenance fees as well.
I was also thinking about, the timeshare salespeople are likely some of the best salespeople on the planet, because they take people who go to these tours. They're going to the tour because they want the free tickets that night, or they want the free 2-night stay or whatever. Yeah. And every single person that takes a timeshare tour thinks the same thing. Ha ha ha! I got them. I just got 2 free nights, and I'm not going to buy a damn thing.
But
Surprise.
Next thing you know, you own a timeshare. How do they get us? How do they hook us on these things?
lots of liquor. That's what I would
Well,
think.
again, it's, the promotions that they have, and everyone goes in there saying, no, I'm not going to buy, honey, I'm not going to do this. And after they just force in the continuous vacationing, discounted prices, you're going to get investment opportunity. This increases in value. See, this is such a good decision for you. By the time you hear it all, you're swayed in for sure.
And
Yeah.
once I do buy, and I have a mortgage, I'm paying the mortgage every month, but
Right.
I'm also on the hook for other fees and costs and things too. What else am I on the hook for?
You'll have your yearly or biannual maintenance dues. And then on top of that, you may have a casual assessment that comes in 2 to 3
A
every 2 years.
casual assessment. You like that? Assessment. Yeah. How casual is that?
So these
Slap about $5,000 on you.
yeah, exactly. These maintenance fees, I think the average is what, $800 to $1,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah, that and high. I mean, I see a lot of 1,100,
Okay.
1,000. Yeah.
When do I get those? Is there something that's due at the beginning of the year? Is it due halfway through? Is it due when I bought it? When is it normally due?
Usually doing that following year, annually on the beginning of the year. In fact, if you own a timeshare, keep an eye out in your mail.
Yeah.
You're probably about to get one any day now.
And
Oh,
so,
boy.
like, what do people think when they get this first bill or the second or even the third yearly maintenance bill and they look back and be like, honey, we haven't even been to this timeshare once, or maybe we've been once over the last 3 years. Yeah. I want to get out of this thing. I mean, what goes through their head after they keep paying this dumb maintenance bill every year, knowing they're really not using the timeshare? I mean, what goes through their head at that point?
Probably what most people think you probably can't even say on the air what they're thinking,
But you can fill in the blank.
Yeah, I'm sure. And it's absolute frustration, overwhelming for a lot of these people, especially when they call the resort and say, hey, I can't afford this. And they tell you, I'm sorry, you're SOL on that
Yeah.
one.
God,
Continue
really?
paying. And
No sympathy, brother.
no, not in
Those
timeshare.
guys. Yeah.
And then, but timeshare is definitely, and make no mistake about it. If you have any questions about timeshare, give us a call 321-339-1055. So let's say that you buy a timeshare, but then you also want to go buy a new house, or you want to do a refinance on your house. Let's not kid ourselves. These timeshares show up on your credit, and it shows up as a debt-to-income ratio piece on your credit. I mean, it can really affect your ability to buy another house, Mark, can't it?
Sure, absolutely. So, as mortgage brokers, other lenders, banks, they're going to look at debt to income ratio. They also see this open credit line of a timeshare. It literally specifically states timeshare loan right on it. Well, that's like an open-ended loan at the end of the day. If you had an assessment that came in, you couldn't pay for it. They're going to go down the foreclosure route. So now the bank lender that has this house or has this line of equity within inside of you says, hey, this is a liability to me. This is risk. Why should I lend you any money if you're going to sign off for a $50,000 timeshare?
Do you ever see anyone rent out their timeshare? Is that even possible?
They have them on websites. Usually the original owner actually has to usually come down there and, kind of check that person in. There's very rarely, I see a lot of the major resorts on renting them out. I mean,
So
I don't
in
see it
other words,
quite
you
often.
can't send an agent there to do it for you. You got to be there.
a lot of them, they do,
Yeah.
because they want to force that other person into doing other tours.
Yeah.
The rental,
Get some more.
the
Why
rental
not be
resale
greedy?
market is a difficult one.
So let's talk about the resale market for timeshares, because I know this is something that makes me crazy a lot. Because most of the time, the person who has bought the timeshare is getting somewhat taken advantage of. They're not really getting this great value that the timeshare salesperson has really sold them. But then they say, oh, don't worry, and they have all these websites of people who are going to resell it for you. Okay, woo, problem solved. I just hired this company to resell the timeshare for me. I might even make a couple bucks.
To sell it to some other poor schlo.
Right.
Okay.
How does the resale market, though, really work in actuality?
They will just list them up on a marketplace website similar, to an eBay, where they have thousands of them. Last one we saw, one of the largest ones out there, they had 27,000 up there listed for $1.
Yeah.
And they it's just supply and demand. It outweighs itself. So there is no resale market in this. And you'd have to pay off the entire mortgage. So people go to these companies, say, hey, I want to sell it. They say, not a problem. They say, yeah, I still owe $15,000. And they say, no, we'll sell it for more than that, when they know you can't sell a timeshare if you still have financing on it.
And guess who?
Really? God, why is
You'd
that?
have to pay it off and balance in full.
come
And guess who normally pays up front to resale the timeshare.
Oh, the timeshare owner.
The timeshare owner. So there's an upfront fee always. I mean, I'm saying always. I think most of the time at least.
90% of the time, yeah.
For you to actually resale this timeshare now. So now you're double screwed at this point. You got screwed by buying it. Now you're paying someone. What's a typical fee that I would pay to whoever's doing the resale for me?
$700 to $1,000
So
per timeshare.
Now I'm in it for another $1,000, and I'm going to get nothing out of this too. So you're getting taken advantage of absolutely left and right, and I think that's where Mark's company, Sapphire Timeshare Cancellation, comes in. Because, well, first of all, there's a lot of bad timeshare cancellation companies out there as well. All you have to do is look and now they're getting screwed again. By the time they get to Mark, they have their radar up a little bit, saying, I've been taken advantage of left and right. I mean, first of all, Mark, how do I reach out? What's the website, phone number? If I really want to get rid of my timeshare, how do I reach out to you?
Sure, you can give us a call at 407-362-7859. You can also visit us on the web at www.sapphiretimesharecancellation.com.
Should I just stop paying?
Ideally, not right away. First, before you do that drastically, give us a call, reach out so we can get a little assessment of what's going on. Because if you were just to stop paying, go default, then you're going to possibly raise a lot of red flags at these resorts. Going into a financial recovery department where your phones are going to be ringing off the hook, that's going to give you a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, just strictly just defaulting on it and walking away and not doing anything is not going to be what you want to do.
So what should I do? Once I call you, how does the process work from there?
Sure. So after we're going to assessment kind of what timeshare you have, are you mortgaged, are you not? From there, we can identify, what happened in your situation. Obviously, there's a lot of consumer rights violations. Then there's credit reporting. How are they putting it on there? Are they violating that? Now, as you decided, now it's up to you if you want to stop paying. We never tell anyone to stop paying. But if you make that decision to stop paying, there is going to be a process of how the resort's communicating to you. How is a collection agency communicating you? Are they violating collection laws? So there's multiple strategies that we do with this to get somebody out of their timeshare for sure.
Now, let's say that we don't even get to that point. Let's say I've just purchased a timeshare over the last 2 days or so. Is there any kind of rescission period that you're aware of in Florida or even state by state where I can actually cancel this contract?
Yes, each state has their own rescission period of time. So let's say you did. You say you're sitting at the resort right now and you just purchased a timeshare and you just thought to yourself, oh, this is the worst decision I've ever done.
Really?
So depending on what state you live in, you have rescission periods. So say you're in Florida where you have 10 days and then you go, you know what? You're going to have a written letter to them saying your name, contract number, resort, saying you want to immediately cancel this contract, and you certify that.
Right.
Signature delivery to wherever your contract has that address. If you're sitting at the resort, you just walk up right into your customer service, into your main sales area, and hand that right to them.
It's almost like the dude who got hammered in Vegas and woke up
and said,
and their head was pounding, and they were like, "Uh-oh, I'm married now." A similar thing with timeshare, I think.
Yeah.
The guy wakes up hungover on a Sunday morning, and they're like, oh, "What did I do?"
Yeah.
Oh, I bought a timeshare. It's kind of like, I think it's like that, and they make it really easy to purchase.
That's worse than getting married in Vegas. No,
It depends on who you ask.
A lot.
It depends on who you ask, Mick. 321-339-1055. Justin Clark here with Mark Anderson of Sapphire Timeshare Cancellation. All right, so the negative ramifications actually can really add insult to injury on you as well, and I've seen this happen countless times here in Florida. So in Florida, we have what's called the judicial foreclosure, right? Or they have to actually go take you to court to foreclose on you, like on a house. Timeshare is the same. In some states, they just have to send you a letter, basically. But here, they have to go through the foreclosure process. But then the bank, the mortgage company in this situation, has the right, once they foreclose on you, already ruined the credit, now they can get what's called a deficiency judgment against you, Mark. Is this right?
That is correct, yeah.
I mean, have you seen this happen before?
We try to avoid all that, but usually when someone's into that end of the process, there is no more timeshare cancellation contract to handle. We're out of the picture at that point. You just sit there with a big, nice judgment, building probably some sort of amount of interest. You'll have to debt settle that. You'll have to do a debt settlement on that point.
Unbelievable. I mean, I see timeshares really lead people to bankruptcy a lot. I mean, we do bankruptcy in the office. Mick, people file bankruptcy all the time just to get out from under these timeshares. And I see people come in 4, 5, 6 timeshares they own.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
What?
What are you doing?
That many times?
Yes.
Multiple.
I mean, what are you doing? Why would you possibly buy 6? I mean, even buying one, okay, on a random day or something, fine, but
Maybe they have 6
6
kids.
I don't know. I really don't know what goes through people's
crazy.
heads, but I see it lead to bankruptcy often.
Is there any good timeshares out there? Surely there's something that's worth having out there.
They have some that are actually have a little bit of value. There ones are in Hawaii on certain holiday seasons and things like that. They're really high demand
areas.
resorts.
Yeah,
Exactly. For example, Hilton's. We don't see a lot of people trying to come in to really cancel Hilton because they usually have a quality that people like.
Oh, that's good.
But so there is some.
So there's hope for some people.
There is hope for some people.
Yeah.
Just the general average American,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. Go to Expedia.
Do you think these phones are working, ECI? It doesn't really look promising over on my screen. How about you? We're not sure. Because we've been having some phone issues today, Mick, I believe, right?
Yes.
So if you want to play Stump the Clarkie, go to because I have some tickets to give away. We're giving away 2 tickets at the poker table, Texas Hold'em for Hometown Heroes Alliance Casino Night this Friday, 7 p.m., down at the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge on Hansel Avenue. But you got to play Stump the Clarkie with us. So here's how you can play. If you can't call in, go to @YouHavePowerRadio on Facebook or YouTube. Preferably Facebook, though, right? Because you can enter stuff.
Yeah.
Briana? Okay, either one. Go to @YouHavePowerRadio on Facebook or YouTube, and you can play along with us right there. We're going to talk more about getting out from under your timeshare and Stump the Clarkie. All right, on the other side of this very short break, it's Justin Clark. It's Florida Man Radio.
You're listening to You Have Power Radio with attorney Justin Clark.
Central Florida first responders have some of the most dangerous jobs around. This is Jeff Brown from Hometown Heroes Alliance, and our mission is to support those heroes disabled or seriously injured on the job. On October 11th, we're having a casino night fundraiser at the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge in Orlando. There's going to be a Texas Hold'em tournament, roulette tables, blackjack, and more. Come out and join us for a night of fun and help raise funds for wounded first responders. Find out all you need to know at Casino Night event section of the Hometown Heroes Alliance Facebook page.
Adam and Eve is not giving you 10% off and not 20% off or even 40%. Your discount is even bigger. AdamandEve.com is giving you a whopping 50% off. But why stop there? In addition to 50% off, you also get 10 free gifts. That includes a racy item for him, a sensuous toy for her, and something we know you'll both enjoy. Ooh. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. And best of all, free shipping. Always delivered in discreet packaging. So rethink your bedroom routine. Go to adamandeve.com and enter the station's exclusive code at checkout, FLMAN, and get, you know the discount, 50% off almost any item and 10 tantalizing free gifts. That's FLMAN, FLMAN.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably?
It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Smokey Cole Bear, filling in for Smokey on his birthday, because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Just look at the news. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless. And I'm not just talking about obvious things like campfires, or letting your totally sweet nephew, Francis, play with matches. I'm talking about dumping your used barbecue coals willy-nilly, or parking your car on tall, dry grass. That can lead to... poof! Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. But listen, being a South Carolinian, I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous, deciduous, or new car scented. So if you love the outdoors like me, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Because fire safety is always in season. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick, and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Meet Ingrid, fiery spirit, caring grandma, proud trucker.
I've logged more than 4 million miles in my truck. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. I was driving outside of Ohio when a gentleman stopped suddenly in front of me. But it takes my 80,000-pound truck 200 yards to stop. I'd given myself extra room, but it's not a chance worth taking.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Now, back to You Have Power Radio with attorney Justin Clark.
If you like Texas Hold'em, you're going to want to play with us this Friday, October 11th at 7 p.m. It's the Hometown Heroes Alliance Casino Night at the Fraternal Order of Police. All proceeds go to benefit injured first responders. We're also going to give away 2 tickets today. If you play Stump the Clarkie with us by going to You Have Power Radio on Facebook or Instagram, 321-339-1055. Mark Anderson here is with us from Sapphire Timeshare Cancellation. How does it really work in practice, Mark? If I go buy a timeshare, I mean, do I really have like this one condo I'm going to use once a year, the same one? How does it really work? How does timeshare really work?
Well, ideally, they're supposed to have multiple resorts that you have access to. But typically, yes, you have a home resort that you go to, whatever package you purchased or unit, 4-bedroom walk-off, a studio, a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. Ideally, that's what you have.
And is it all in the same resort? Do I get points? I just don't even know how. I've never bought a timeshare.
Right. So
because I'm somewhat intelligent.
Originally, you purchased it. You have a deed. So you actually think that you would have some sort of vacation property or something of ownership. In time, they've turned it all to points. And so now you have these membership vacation packages, these discount vacations they try to sell to you. Where you have a home area, you can transfer these points to go to different resorts and be part of that network. Unfortunately, the cost of these things just doesn't outweigh what you really get. I mean, they're expensive hotel rooms in most of these places,
So you don't have right away immediate access to other places. You've got to go through the.
Oh, you'll have to go through the chain of custody when it comes down to reserving something.
Why would anybody get that?
Oh,
if they're paying attention,
Yeah.
why would they do it? I just don't get it.
So most timeshares now are this point system that you can use to kind of travel wherever you want. But so why am I stuck paying maintenance fees if I'm just buying points?
Right, so they call it their maintenance fees, their membership fees. They even disguise it as HOA dues.
Yeah.
To carry on this income that they need and have. So even though you could have it completely paid off, you're never going to be done with it.
Mick, have you ever bought a timeshare?
Absolutely not.
Do you know where Briana used to work?
At a timeshare.
She sure did.
And I bet she was real good, too.
She
yes,
quit.
Sir.
She quit. How long were you there?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. Wow. How many do you think you sold? A lot?
Enough to stop sleeping.
And did you feel some guilt at night?
Of course.
Yeah.
There's some people that were like obviously screwed over. So I mean, yeah, it gets to you if you have a conscience.
All right, so let's talk about this, Mark. How in the world do I get out? How do you get me out from under this timeshare? I'm done. I just got this $1,000 bill again in November. I don't use this stupid thing that much. I want to get out from under it. What do you guys do? How do you help?
Sure. So obviously, as you come on board, you become a client of ours. We're dealing direct with the resort, disputing validities of contracts, or invalid right of rescission, consumer fraud violations, just a slew of state rights and things that these people have had that were lied to. I mean, outright exaggerations were given to these people. And so it's a lot of...
so it's the fine print is what you're talking.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a process. It's a process. If I'm enacting legal teams and costing them lots of money, and this piles up and have to have them validate things through credit bureaus and state's attorney's office, file against BBB complaints and different aspects that I just keep piling onto them, eventually this resort is going to be fed up. I mean, they're going to have another 100 more come through through different avenues of people just upset, How many timeshares did they sell today and how many of them are really happy? Right. They're going to do it on their own too, Before they get to me, they've tried their outlets. So they've already hammered every aspect they can go. So the time they get to me, I just pile it right on and keep going.
And then can the resort just go resell it again? I mean, so they're going to resell that anyway, or are we selling just air here?
So actually, what was really kind of funny is we see a lot of this when they get into these default and now everything's going to be finalized, and some people even have this foreclosure done to them. Yeah. They do this part where the resort will buy it back, but they've already been foreclosed on it, right? So the resort buys it back so they can write off a tax return on this massive number. Usually it's actually at the price of the timeshare they originally bought it, or sometimes even more because of fees, but they never actually transferred it. There's nothing there. It wasn't like an actual.
So how much would that be? 50?
Yeah, I see them going for like the small ones are doing 18 to 30,000, and then I just saw one where one of the resorts wrote off on their buyback of a foreclosure, and it was like $124,000. There's no way that timeshare was even worth that.
Wow.
I mean, is there any timeshare in the United States worth $124,000? Hardly.
I think you're asking the wrong person.
I don't think so.
However, we can speculate.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't think so. Mark Anderson is here. Sapphire Timeshare cancellation. All right, how do we call? How do we find out more information about you guys? Because I got to get rid of this timeshare.
Sure, absolutely. You can just give us a call, 407-362-7859. You give us a call there, and we'll go over all of our details and what we can do to get you out.
All right, so you're going to start working with me. We're going to get rid of this timeshare. It's going to take, 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months? How long is, I know everyone is probably a little bit different. What's sort of an average time period that it takes to get this process done?
Sure, our average turnaround time is about 6 to 9 months. We do have a money-back guarantee up to a year, so you enroll with us. We obviously work diligently on this, and if we don't get you out within that year, we refund you what you paid over to us.
Sweet.
No risk at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So do you have like is it a graduated fee, some are less than others, or just a percentage? Or?
No, we don't do it based on debt or anything like that. It's almost like a standardized fee based on your resort, conditions of, are you default? Do you have a mortgage? Do you not? Are you, is there a deed or is there not? So there's a couple criteria. Actually, when you call us, we don't even ask you how much you owe or what your mortgage is because we're not basing it off of that. So you find a standardized average number.
Are you better off if you've paid off the mortgage and you're just paying the fees and that's all you're in it, or
well, I wouldn't say you're better off because you just gave them a whole bunch of money.
Well, yeah.
So if you just
as far
bought
as
it,
getting out of it.
Well, if you just bought it and you have a mortgage, I have something to carry and hang over their head. If you paid it off and you just have a maintenance fee, and say you just paid off the maintenance fee, we have no leverage. So now when you have this debt load over here and you have these fees and you're at the end of the day, really you're not going to pay for it. You don't want it at the end of the day. So alleviating that and using that as a leverage stone, a mortgage, a maintenance.
Yeah,
nightmare.
Yeah, and people come in my office all the time too with, hell, Justin, I don't really have any debt. It's just this timeshare. And they say, and I'm like, how much do you owe? They're like, well, I have two. One is $18,000, one is $22,000. I'm like, well, that's $40,000 you have in debt right there, man. I mean, that's
a lot.
Yeah. If you walked in with $40,000 in
hurts.
Amex debt, we would be saying you've got quite a bit of credit card debt. You know, I mean, this is real debt that is going to follow you around. And Mark, I mean, what are the payments like on this? What are the interest rates like on these mortgages?
Average like 15 to 20%.
I mean, it's
actually
worse.
every one that I saw today was about 17%. So we review the contracts and I see them. This
is a problem.
How is that legal?
It is really, really troubling. And what are the time frames on these mortgages typically? How many years do you have to pay?
They're 10 years, 10-year mortgages.
All 10-year. And then you're paying the maintenance fees on top of that.
Course, yep. And then you have assessments.
So how long could that
booking
go?
fees.
Let's say that I bail. Let's say that I just bail on this thing. I don't pay it.
Sure.
Get it.
Here's
Come
why.
and get me.
Sure.
Okay. How long does that just ongoing? The fees,
Well, yeah, they'll keep accruing those late fees, interest, default, and then if they pass it on to, let's say, a collection agency or a third party to collect on it, there's going to be that fee. So you can't really avoid them. I mean, they're going to hunt you down. They'll find you. They'll put it on
but
your
if
credit.
they pass it on to somebody else, in other words, it still continues on forever, or do they cut it off? They say, hell, okay, he's done. Let's go to collection.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to transfer my right. Like, if I had a mortgage, I can't transfer that right to somebody else and say, hey, you're going to pay for this now. The resort would never allow that.
Yeah.
They have you.
Jeez.
So when you do some kind of deed in lieu or something to get rid of this place that is that I do have a mortgage on, what normally happens? I mean, does the bank normally write off the mortgage or they take over it? How does it normally work when I have a mortgage?
Right. So the mortgage we're going to settle out that direct with the resort. So they're going to alleviate that. Say, hey, you have a zero balance. You don't have any responsibility to us, financial or otherwise, and we get that release back from them. If you have, for some reason, put a lot of money on a credit card, on a third party, on a deposit or something like that, sometimes we're able to target those as well, but generally that's a third party. You're going to be
on the hook
hang
for
on
that.
for that. Anything direct with the resort, that is going to be going away for sure.
Yeah, what Mark was telling me, Mick, last week is that these resorts, this is happening so often that they have credit card companies that they're in bed with who they'll have kind of right there on site to be able to pay where the resort's getting paid almost in full right there with the credit card.
Wow.
As opposed to holding the mortgage, right?
Right. Yes.
Because what are you going to do? You can later on dispute the charge or whatever, but that's not always successful for sure. So they've gotten smart.
Sure. Any legal procedure is going to take a while too.
Oh, for sure. And it's expensive. So you got to think of, even if you went down to, let's say you're a family practicing attorney or so forth and said, hey, I just bought this $30,000 timeshare. I have a lifelong contract. I got a 10-year mortgage. Help me get out of this. Well, there is no, timeshare exiting 101 in law school. And so it's usually industry experience or going to be a debt settlement. So they look at it and go, well, I'll send letters for you. And so you're not going to get a guarantee. No attorney's going to say, hey, I'll give you a money back guarantee if this doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so we are a solution, that's for sure.
Yeah.
321-339-1055. We're going to play a little Stump the Clarkie here in just a minute. Mick, you played one time since we've been back on the air together, right?
Terrible.
Did I win? I don't remember who won.
Yeah, you did.
So, about once a
I don't think
week.
I got one even.
No?
How's that happen?
Can we run that show back? Maybe the first best stuff should be the first. Mick?
Oh, God. No.
Stump the Clarkie.
No, I don't do that.
No?
It was a tie anyway.
It was a tie?
Yeah.
Oh, me and you tied.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Are you guys ready to play? Yeah. If you want to play along, because we're giving away 2 seats to the Hometown Heroes Alliance Casino Night this Friday, October 11th. It's a Texas Hold'em tournament benefiting injured first responders. I've got 2 tickets to give away. You've got to go to @YouHavePower Radio on Facebook or YouTube. and you can play along with us right there.
All right, and now it's time for Stop the Clocky. Come on, Clocky. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions